Hey, AFTERBUZZ TV fans, tune in now for Season 2, Episode 8 of Into the Badlands. We're recapping Sting of Scorpion's Tail.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
A little throwback music to the wall over here with Pink Floyd, because we finally got there. We reached the wall. I almost chose the Game of Thrones song, but I feel like we've referenced that quite enough. It's just me tonight, guys, so please, if you are joining to listen live or on YouTube to stream live, definitely jump in the chat. We're definitely going to be talking just you and me tonight. We'll be holding it down. You guys can find me at Hey John Blake, but definitely join in the live chat as we will collectively be discussing this episode. Hopefully our friends in the booth will be joining in with their 2 cents as well, because this was a good episode. I mean, episode 8, we're definitely getting really deep in the season. We only have 2 episodes left, so things are starting to happen. People are starting to die, even at greater frequency. So it's good stuff. A lot of satisfying deaths. I mean, we kind of jumped right into the action with the Widow. We kind of were at a new location. She tracked down Baron Hassan in his cotton mill and just was ninja assassinating people right off the bat, so that was pretty cool. Yes, Steven, The Wall is a great soundtrack, so shout out to everybody that's a fan of Pink Floyd. A little throwback music for Way Back Wednesday, I guess it is. But yeah, I mean, we get a great brutal kill. The sword thrusts like right into his stomach. And obviously the swarm of butterflies definitely attack and kind of complete everything. The Widow is definitely like on the move. She's going on the offensive, to say the least. I mean, she even just kind of goes on a whole tirade and takes down. I mean, we can assume she's kind of clearing the map of everybody that was at the conclave, kind of picking up the pieces of everybody that survived. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I love how she doesn't really have any remorse either. I mean, she's kind of in a merciless mode right now, really, after being kind of double-crossed by everybody. Kind of checking off everybody that did her wrong off of the list is pretty cool, that she is just kind of going forth and taking no prisoners. She, like, this guy kind of tries to beg for his life, and she cuts off his head. So answer is flat out no. So I'm curious to see how you guys thought about that in the live chat. Definitely chime in if you think she is doing this justfully. I mean, she was definitely done wrong from the conclave. So do you think this is, should she have killed that guy? I think so. I mean, she's kind of like getting her sweet revenge right now. So I'm very pro beheading at this time. But I'm kind of pro beheading in general for the baddies. Yeah, we're definitely dwindling down on how many barons are even left. I mean, she just bulldozes this whole cotton mill one at Baron Hassan's place, and you know, we can assume that she's been doing that for everybody. I'll talk about it in a little bit, but when she goes to when she meets up with Quinn and they kind of show heads that they've collected, it's, you know, it's obviously proof that they've been very successful at just kind of taking everybody down and eliminating the competition. But meanwhile, Sunny, MK, and Baiji are finally at the wall, so their journey's sort of done. They get there, but then there's this whole like negotiation thing. I mean, I felt like it was a little not anticlimactic, but I was expecting kind of a giant scene. I mean, they end up kind of haggling more in a black market, so it seemed like they were able to kind of sneak in and do this like underground deal. But I almost wanted there to be like this huge like moat or something and like a drop down gate, because there's been a lot of buildup with this whole wall situation and like who built it. It's all shrouded in mystery. It would have been cool to see like some like giant like pseudo human or something like as like a guard. But that's more of a nitpicky thing. I'm very curious to see how many barons are left, what their relationship to the wall is. Like, again, we always come back to this. The map, I think, would be the biggest thing that I'm looking for, just because it's hard to picture like where all these things are, like how big the lands are. I mean, Baron Hassan was taken out pretty quickly. Like, was he a smaller Baron? Like, are there like sizes in general? Like, that would kind of, I think, put a hierarchy together. I know the writers are definitely kind of coming up with this as, you know, the seasons kind of get picked up one by one. So it might be more of a fluid creative process that they're discussing, but it'd be great to kind of be able to put that hierarchy together, and sort of how big of a deal is it that she was able to kill Baron Hassan. Like, maybe he was a smaller Baron, or if he was kind of a bigger with like a big land, then it's like a huge deal. So kind of putting that into context would be cool. But yeah, so anyway, the Sunny and MK and Baiji are able to kind of sweet talk their way into a deal. Baiji kind of convinces them that this is like definitely the way to go. He kind of takes the lead, but it doesn't really work out for them, because even though they do get a ride by kind of bartering their way in, they get pretty jammed up with Chau's clippers. They're kind of double dealing, and you know, they're going through her clippers, and she basically has free reign to kind of pick whoever they want, and there's a bit of a standoff. They obviously tried to hide in the bus, which does not go well for them at all. Chau and her clippers are very good at what they do, so they know exactly that there's 3 people still left on the bus. So that was kind of a cool moment to show how powerful I think Chau was. And I think they've done a lot to show that she is a very formidable opponent. Like, she's got, I mean, a very sleek, like, theme going around. Everybody's in white, which is super clean. I mean, the Sunny new uniform, I thought was pretty cool. He gets, like, pretty decked out. And even the other, like, clippers in Chau's ranks are kind of upset about it. It's cool that he was getting into that whole world like so quickly. I mean, even though they get captured and imprisoned, you know, he's able to show how many marks he has on his back, and how reputable he is as a clipper. You know, I think it's a cool badge of honor, this whole tattoo system, because it's not like you can just mark that on yourself. It's like a, you know, like their accolades. It's kind of almost like a war medal that they get to adorn. It's like an honor thing. So that's really cool. But he obviously is able to like power move his way to see Chau right away, which is really cool because he is a renowned clipper. I think he, like, before he got kicked out of the Badlands, he was like the go-to guy. Obviously Quinn is sort of a powerhouse in the whole Badlands as well. He's very respected, and even though he's got the cancer brain and like very limited troops, he's still able to mop it up with all the other enemies that he has. When they are showing heads with Minerva, he has more than she did, and she actually asks what are in like the other boxes, and you know, it's a bit I mean, I'm curious to see like how you guys reacted to it. He went to the extreme and didn't just kill off the barons themselves, but went after their family. And although that's a very like gruesome and like merciless move, you know, I think he's not taking any prisoners. And again, he's kind of learned the hard way by showing that mercy and maybe sparing even, you know, the like women and children, which is normally kind of the main like war like rules, I guess, rules of war.
It's like common courtesy.
Right, exactly, common courtesy.
Kill the women or children.
Exactly. And I think that there is a lot of merit to that, but at the same time, you know, he's leaving people alive can definitely come back to bite you, and he's learned that several times. Especially in this season, they've shown that Jade, for instance, like she took off Minerva. Obviously, he actually mentions that to her. He's like, by leaving survivors, I ran into a problem like you, like Exhibit A. So, you know, he's really kind of embodying that, like, I'm gonna be safe and even do the hard thing, which, you know, is a very debatable move, because obviously he's being safe, but it's pretty messed up that he's killing like women and kids at the same time. So take that what you will. That is Quinn. I think he's being true to character after everything he's been through. As a character, I don't think I blame him. Plus, you can always blame it on the cancer brain.
Yeah, it's kind of like he was like reborn to become much more like brutal and like bloodthirsty and merciless. But,
Right.
Like, he died and he comes back.
Totally.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah, and yeah, Steven Auden from the chat says rules are out of the window for Quinn, and I completely agree. I think he's no longer bound by reason at all. That being said, I think he's being, like, that was a strategic move, but it's interesting to watch him kind of unravel and see where, you know, he is, like, making decisions, what is based on reality, what is based off of, like, his own mental, like, lapses, that he has, like, a giant hole in his brain. So that's cool to kind of figure out and play with. I'm sure for the writers, they're having a lot of fun with, like, man, maybe he, like, goes into, like, this weird daydream thing and, like, makes all these wrong decisions or, like, irrational choices. You know, cutting ahead to when he's having that very awkward dinner with Vale and Lydia. I mean, I can't even imagine what it would be like having dinner with pretty much his, like, first ex-wife and his fiance. Very awkward, especially since his fiance wants nothing to do with him, and she's actually in love with his old friend / bodyguard. So yeah, it could not be more awkward, especially since he's eating, like, a steak that I wouldn't even classify it as rare so much as, like, with a blood au jus that he was dipping it in.
I was gonna bring that up. That like grossed me out so bad.
Yeah.
Like that added to like the cringiness of like that scene where it's just like that meat that he's eating. He's literally just like devouring blood and meat. I don't know. I guess it's like like something to say on his character. Like, he doesn't even care how cooked his
Right.
meat is. He's become like much more savage, really.
Exactly. And I think that's cool to see how visceral, like, he really gets and how animalistic he is. I mean, the whole fact that they're outside the Badlands are kind of on the run, like they're these, like, wildlings in a way. He's really embodying that. I mean, even his clothes and armor are, like, really, like you said, savage. Like, he's got, like, furs and he's, like, baptizing people in blood, and, you know, there's a lot. It's a really, like, raw, like, animalistic route that he's taking, and yeah, just super savage. I mean, it's pretty badass, so I can't hate on it in that sense. I think he makes just a fascinating villain to watch. It's cool that he's like fun to hate because he's doing all these, like, really gross things and extreme things and, like, killing women and children, but he's got this gravitas that I don't think a lot of the other characters have, and he kind of is able to pull off these things. Like, again, there's not a lot of people that can pull off that, even like a situation with the wives and, like, have them still. I mean, he just hooked up with Lydia again very recently, and is now, like, setting up this new marriage, and has her, like, be her bridesmaid in a way. She's like the maid of honor for the wedding. So it definitely gets pretty awkward. It'd be funny if Jade was, like, waiting in like outside, like, peering in on this whole bridal party. But yeah, moving on. I think the the whole cog thing with Chau, they set up this elaborate plan to ambush and get the widow. They know she's after MK. They set this trap. Sunny is able to like gain their trust, and even though Chau kind of doesn't really trust anyone, which is smart to do. I mean, as a Clipper or as a Baron, I think you have to kind of keep walking on eggshells and making sure that no one is getting too close. It gives him enough leeway to kind of follow through the plan, and they stage this whole setup where they mistakenly kind of put one of the Clippers in harm's way, and he gets captured and interrogated, and they're able to kind of flip the switch on the widow. And at the same time, I think it was cool to see like the double switch. Like not only did they kind of trap the widow, but she kind of uses her wits to get out of it right away and convinces Sunny right away with kind of revealing that Vale is still alive, that to kind of defect again. So a lot of flip-flopping from Sunny this episode, but I think it was necessary. I mean, he obviously, his only motivation is to see Vale and his kid, so I think he made the right choice in defecting yet again. So that was a cool fight. I think we've never really seen the setting of a winery, vineyard kind of thing, and it was cool to see MK like smashing bottles on people's heads. That all was pretty cool. It was like a double cross, and it was a cool battle. Like the three homies now all kind of duking it out, and cool to see Sunny back in like full form as like a Clipper. We've seen he's been kind of like on the run, really in like raggedy setups for a while. So it's nice to see him like back to true form and getting that like GTL situation handled. And obviously that Silver Moon sword just wrecks house. Let's see what happens. Also, we talked about the marriage. I feel like that was pretty aggressive that it happened all in one episode. I mean, I'm glad that it did because I wouldn't want that storyline to drag out too long, but it went from proposal to like wedding night very quickly, and luckily Lydia was there to kind of block the situation at the end and give that information that Sunny was alive and that he was like, you know, working with the widow, and there's this whole coup situation that was bubbling up because I don't even know what would have happened if they did consummate the marriage. I mean, we saw Vale kind of with a knife. She gave Henry to Lydia and kind of set the stage for if she did die, you know, then to take care of Henry. And I think she would have if it had come to that. I think Lydia would have done the motherly thing and taken care of Henry. He is an innocent baby after all. And I think Vale was smart to do that also, even though she could have, or was smart enough to probably cut like a main artery or something, knowing the anatomy from all of her studies. But Quinn is such a like strong, formidable enemy. I think that it'd be tough to kill him. Like even with like a slash to the throat, he would probably put up a fight and maybe even take her down. So I think she definitely needed to cover her bases there. Yeah, what did you think they were gonna do it, or do you think Vale was going to actually kill him?
I was a little how do you say conflicted. I mean, I wanted to see him kind of die, but also that would mean like the death for Vale. I feel like they might be setting us up for like the death of Vale, because I feel like that'd be like a major season 2 at the end, kind of like ooh, like it ends with Sunny just in despair with his kid, but as far as Vale killing Quinn, I just wanted to see Quinn go down
Right
by Vale's hand, because he's such a He's so scummy by this point.
Right. But he kind of holds everything together. Like it's so like it's he's a fun guy to hate. Like I look forward to all the scenes with him because it's like what is he gonna say next? Like he's really bound by no reason or anything right now, and he's bested cancer so far because and a giant hole in his brain.
Yeah, there's definitely a reason why they're keeping him alive. Still.
Right.
He's definitely like the centerpiece of like all the evilness in the show, I guess you could say.
Right, and now that there's a giant season 3 coming, I'm curious to see if he is gonna die at the end of this season. I mean, there isn't really another big enemy that we've seen. They can always bring in new characters, but I don't know like how that would even work. I mean, like there's no one in the current cast right now that I think would be as interesting to follow through like 16 more episodes as kind of the main point of conflict. He's such like a disaster in so many ways. I think he makes up for a lot of villains combined, and now that it's kind of all against Quinn at this point, they're kind of all like aligning now that Sonny is pretty much in cahoots with the Widow. I think everything's kind of coming against Quinn. So it'll be cool to see how he handles that, especially without his normal group. I mean, maybe Jade could be in season 3 if Quinn definitely goes down, but we'll see. I mean, the one thing I was happy that didn't happen was that Vale didn't die. I mean, I was worried that they were like setting up this whole like Romeo and Juliet thing, and like she was gonna like kill herself, and then Sonny was gonna show up. But I'm glad that Lydia told both Quinn and Vale that he was still alive. So it's not like a missed connection type of thing. So that's nice. But yeah, let's see what else happened. The ambush, we talked about Quinn. He's definitely going to handle his business. Now knowing that Sonny is back, it'll be interesting to see that face off. I cannot wait. I mean, knowing how things were left between the two of them. I mean, I think the last time that they were even in the same vicinity was when Sonny stabbed him. So that's going to be a pretty awkward situation. Hopefully it's something we see next episode. If they don't give us like at least something, I'm going to be pretty upset.
I feel like they would end the next episode on that when they see each other.
Right.
Like when there's like that standoff.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be cool.
Totally. I mean, I like how Quinn is very upfront about like his situation. I mean, he even mentioned like he toasts to his impending demise with his two like his like harem of women. But it's like interesting how cognizant he actually is, knowing everything that is happening. I mean, he's been tried to be killed so many times. This dude has Steven again like says he has 9 lives, like 7 are left, and I agree. I mean, he might even have more, and we have no idea what happened before the first season and how many bullets he dodged there. But even in this season alone, he's come out like from so many things. He's been stabbed so many times. I mean, again, Lydia, when they were hooking up, like he got stabbed there, and it's just this dude is like invincible. He's bulletproof. But that just means that Sonny totally has to take him out. Stick, yes, Sonny needs to behead him, totally. That I completely get behind that. But yeah, leading up to this episode, we were also building up. Ivan, thank you for bringing this up. MK and Tilda's reunion. They peppered it throughout the episode. They kind of had like a quick moment when they first saw each other again. I mean, Tilda has had sort of a very mentally draining episode, seeing Vale and kind of getting super guilt-tripped about how everything went down with her, even though she didn't know what would happen with the Widow and kind of getting played. I think it was a tough lesson for her to learn. And Vale was totally in the right in my mind, kind of saying that she can't like be that naive about what can happen. I think she has to grow up a little bit and take things a little bit more seriously. Trust people a little less. That's a common theme throughout the Badlands. I think you can't trust anyone. I mean, take a page from Chau's book. I think she's very seasoned at doing what she does. So she hopefully saw it coming. I'm guaranteed that she's got a contingency plan for everything that went down with Sunny kind of double crossing her. But Tilda's got a lot to learn. And I think she got a really interesting guilt check with seeing Vel. But kind of on the flip side of that, seeing MK, I think that was a nice little reunion. They had a quick little moment up front when they first saw each other, and even a better one when she kind of saved him when they're in the battle in the winery. I think it was fun to see them having fun again. So much of this show is, which I like all of the killing, but it's very dark. So whenever they kind of have moments that lighten things up, I think it's fun. And to see them in the same room and in scenes together is really cool, because that's what the whole main first season was about, that and about them. They were kind of besties, and there was this whole like romantic tension that they were building up to, and then it kind of went a different route when MK was with the monks and kind of had a new girl that was keeping his interest. So it's nice that they're kind of back to the core characters, MK and Tilda.
Yeah, that's true. Because Tilda also had like that little fling with the other girl as well, right? That they saved. That's interesting.
Right. Yeah. She had it. Like, I feel like they both had their little side relationships.
Their own side flings. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
they're finally back together.
Exactly. Just maybe we should give it another shot.
Yeah, you're right. Like, fate has brought us together once more. Why not? And then the looks that they give each other, it's on. Like.
Yeah. No. Totally. The game is back on for sure. Which I think everybody was cheering for those characters to kind of get back together. Their storylines were definitely kind of spiraling in different directions, and I like that there is that bond for them. It kind of grounds them. We talked a lot about this in past recaps, where MK's storyline was kind of going in a completely different direction than like everything. So now that there's that super strong tie with Tilda, it kind of brings them like back to the forefront, back to the center, and everything can kind of build around that. Especially since Tilda, I think, is doing a lot of questioning in her own mind, like, who do I trust? Like, there's the rift between her and the widow, I think, keeps growing bigger and bigger, and it'll be nice. Like, I wonder if she's gonna maybe take Minerva out and just be like, yep, I'm Baron now. She's still got a lot to learn, and that was very evident this episode, but now that she's got MK by her side, she kind of has a lot more forces and strength, I think. He's got the like dark eye power, so he can kind of turn that on at will now. And it was nice that he's got so much control that even though when he's cut, he can turn it off and make sure that things don't get out of hand. So that was cool. One little thing, actually, I forgot to mention up top was when, like, just Sunny's overall slickness. I think when he slipped the keys into Baiji's kind of jail cell, I thought that Baiji was like in on it, but it was he like didn't even know. I thought he was like playing. Yeah, exactly. I totally thought it was like a charade that he was playing, but I think they kind of made that a thing to give Sunny more coolness and more like suave moves.
Yeah, he's definitely resourceful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. People in the chat are talking about a threesome.
Yeah, I saw that. Some people are against it.
Yeah, no, totally. You can't stop true love. I agree with that. I'm not pro threesome in this moment. I think I'm pro MK and Tilda.
Yeah.
I think that's been kind of set up from day one. But it was, yeah, I think then you kind of go into like a soap opera route when you start bringing in the menage a trois. That being said, I mean, it can be done tastefully. I think there's a time and place for that. I don't think that's the here and now, especially for MK and Tilda. I mean, MK still has to get his powers back and to get back to full form. But now that everything is kind of realigning and that we've got all the main characters sort of on the same side, finally, I mean, Tilda, MK, Sunny, and even for the time being, the Widow, now that they're all kind of working together, I feel like they finally have enough, on their feet enough to kind of prepare for an actual battle. So I'd love to see that next episode and obviously the finale, but building up to some huge battle because they're finally back. They're back in the Badlands, back to get the bands back together. It'll be really cool them kind of doing some training. And now that Sunny and MK are kind of in a place where they can take a deep breath and get maybe a good night's rest, they'll be taken into Minerva. She's very good about bringing in refugees. I'm happy to see that what they can do with like a full set of resources. They got the butterflies kind of at their beck and call. I'm sure they can strategize like an actual plan. But we'll see how well it works out, because little do they know, Quinn knows exactly what's going on. So even though he's got a cancer brain, I think he's got enough experience where he can at least throw a wrench in their plans and kind of maybe force the conflict before they're totally ready. Yes, like a battle royale is exactly what I want. So I'm glad that it's kind of all pieced together. We kind of went in all different directions from the beginning of the season. Now that it's like finally kind of funneling in, it's very exciting to see all the moves at play kind of move in and align. So it'll be really interesting to see the next episode and the finale. What do you think it's going to be resolved at the end of this season, or do you think I'm trying to decide if I think they're going to kill off Quinn or not, because obviously Sunny is not going to die. We know there's a season 3.
Yeah,
there's no way that he's going to be eliminated.
that sounds like a prediction talk. You want to move?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's fire up that music cue.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Yeah. So I predict that honestly no one huge is gonna die from the main characters of MK. Like everybody that we've discussed this episode. I think Sunny, there's no way he can die, so like he's safe. I honestly think that Quinn is at least gonna survive this episode. I almost think that they should keep him for season 3 because he's so good and there isn't any other enemies that we've seen on his level at all.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like potential enemies that could come out after Quinn.
Right.
Thinking the Master from the temple. I was thinking.
Ooh, yeah.
I believe it was Ottoman who mentioned Silver Moon because he only cut off his hand, right?
Right.
And that's where he got his sword from.
Yeah, Silver Moon for sure. I mean, Jade is still out there somewhere.
I was thinking Silver Moon. This might be a little wild, but I for some reason I get the feeling that Silver Moon would kill Vale.
Ooh, whoa.
Yeah, that'd be maybe later down the line, but I have a feeling Vale's gonna go down by the end of season 2.
Interesting.
I don't know
Whoa.
why, I just get this feeling that she's gonna go down by season 2. I have a feeling that the whole Badlands might go down by season 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very like they have to build this whole like I think it's called Azra,
Right,
that
exactly.
land in. We know that Baji's got the compass thing, and Minerva really wants to get there as well. I think that season 3, I mean, it's got to be like there's 16 episodes, so it's got to be working with that huge idea. I mean, where is this place? Why do they want to get there?
Right.
Like, what's so great about Azra?
'Cause That was like
Uh,
the biggest like pull in season 1. Of,
right.
like, the Azra and also how MK was like a weird dark like demon thing.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
So, but then like this season was kind of like it kind of felt like the Odyssey with like Sunny trying to come
Oh,
back
totally.
after
Yeah.
the war, trying to get to his family, and he has to go through all these things, and he meets Baji who helps him out throughout like returning to his.
Right. Right. No, totally. It was a great reference, by the way. A little knowledge to partay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it really was kind of like a journey back home. You know, he had a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of people he had to kill along the way. It was very like
He had to accept himself as
Right.
the killer that he is in order to protect his family.
exactly. I mean, it was like almost exactly the Odyssey. I mean, he's very much Odysseus, like getting back to his wife, and his whole life after being like sent, astray.
And
So
what also puts me on edge is Baji's like true allegiance. Like if Widow is a flea, I feel like he would just like be her right hand man like instantly no matter what.
right, right. Well, I mean, now that Quinn knows Sonny is out there, I feel like he's smart enough to know that maybe his best move like isn't to confront him. And I mean, honestly, if I was him, I would take Vale and like go on the run. And like, I think that that's his biggest kind of bargaining chip is maybe like keeping her alive, and using her as a hostage. So I think, that's why I think again both of those characters might not die this season, because that's kind of the biggest thing that he has is like keeping her alive and making sure that like obviously Sonny's not going to try anything funny if Quinn's got a knife to her neck. So that'll be cool to see. And as much as I think that things are kind of bubbling up between Tilda and Minerva, I think that's more of a season 3 conflict that's going to happen, because she's the only one that's been going after this whole Azra thing and chasing this book down and trying to decode it. So I think that's all like season 3 stuff. I want a big character to die at least. I mean,
this thought just came to me. What if Minerva does go down and Sunny takes
Ooh.
the place with Baji as his regent? I mean, he could take over like everything that Minerva was setting up, and then that would pit him against Quinn, who still has Vale.
right. I mean, the one thing I was thinking was actually Baiji could die, because he kind of.
Not Frost.
Yeah, I know. I really don't want that, because he added like such a necessary comic relief throughout this season, and he just is like a great character. It's like so different. I mean, he's such a big guy, and like I really hope he makes a comeback in season 3, because it's a completely different dynamic that he has with each character than we see anywhere else. So I honestly think like it's gonna be a weird like end to the season. I mean, my guess is maybe they'll do something exactly the same as they did with season 1 and like half kill someone. I don't think it's gonna be Quinn again, because they literally did that to end season 1 and brought him back, so they can't do that again. But I think they're gonna maybe. I mean, my hope is if they do kill Baji in that way, like he comes back in season 3, like they weave it in a situation like where Jade is, or where Silver Moon is, where they're like it's like assumed dead, but there is that ability to come back. And I think when the writers must have been writing the show, they obviously did not know that it was going to come back for a season 3. So I think maybe they kind of set it up that way, where people are left like assumed dead, or in something where it's like it could be a conclusion, but there's enough wiggle room where they can kind of bring him back, because I honestly don't want any of the characters to leave. I don't know about you. I mean, is there any character you would want to see eliminated?
No, not really that I want to see. I mean, other than I guess Quinn, but like
Right.
it should be done in the right way, not just like, oh right, we're gonna kill him off. Like that would not pay off.
Yeah, no, totally.
Did you just hint at Jade and Silver Moon getting together out on the Badlands?
Whoa,
Did you
that would
drop
be
that? 'Cause I
insane. I
thought of that.
didn't, but
Okay, I'm glad that you said
I'm
that.
glad you
Whoa.
did because that would
make
be,
sense, right?
yeah,
And then she could protect, like he would protect her, and then like they would both be like, oh, I hate this guy Sunny, oh, I hate this guy Quinn. Hey, they're both in the Badlands. Like,
yeah. I mean,
like,
we definitely did not see the last of Jade. I think they purposely kind of like made her take a few steps out and you know sit a couple on the bench.
yeah,
But
very
she's gonna be back. She's you know got enough resourcefulness. We've seen her stand up to kind of the best of them. Lydia and Quinn are probably the most like powerhouse characters we have in the show, and for her to not even flinch when she faces them is pretty cool. Ramen Shaman says at least he hopes Quinn will die. I agree. I mean, as a character, his storyline's getting pretty close to the end. I'm not sure that they can tease us with this whole impending doom cancer thing forever.
yeah, it's fizzling out.
Exactly. He brings up a good point though. Waldo could die. I mean, he definitely lifts right out. He's not tied to any of the characters. If that does go down, I feel like he's gonna go out swinging. Maybe like do a wheelchair dive to save Sunny or something.
You know, I was thinking about Waldo too. Like, what if he's somehow like devised some sort of like coup
Right.
to like take over Minerva's plan possibly, and then have him as a baron? I don't know. That could possibly happen.
Totally. And I mean, we also have Chau too. I mean, I think she's sort of the only replacement Quinn I can think of that would even make sense. I mean, we've proved that she's smart. She doesn't like jump into deals like willy-nilly. I think she's got a lot of resources. Her clippers are very well trained. You know, they caught Sunny. I mean, you can't do that and not be good at what you do. So I think she's kind of the only one that would be a good adversary. And especially if Jade is kind of the other end of that, I feel like we almost need to keep Quinn alive because he's kind of the like male adversary too. Because if it's just like we would have Minerva, Chau, and Jade. I mean, not to be sexist, but I've like those are like all female characters, and to have them all like be enemies, I think would be would be imbalanced because then it's just kind of Sunny and MK and Baiji on the other side, and they definitely don't want power in a lot of ways. I mean, Baiji wants to get to Azra for whatever reason, but it'll be interesting to see. I feel like everybody's gonna survive. Honestly,
It does feel like that, huh?
yeah. I mean,
They gotta kill someone.
yeah. I hope I mean, it's very satisfying when you get that shocking moment of characters getting killed that you didn't expect, but it's hard to pick anyone because you know we are so far in the season and things are finally happening. Like I do not want like if they killed off Tilda, for instance, like that would be devastating.
Yeah, that would.
Because I feel like that would ruin season 3. It's like we can't even build up to their like
That kinda
adolescent
makes sense.
relationship.
Yeah, like her death wouldn't really affect, like, I guess the story in the grand scheme of
Right.
things. So, like, I don't think that would make too much sense to kill her off. It has to be
Right.
something that disrupts, like, the whole plot, or, you know, like, it just really, like, oh man, what happens now kind of feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel I'm gonna keep my eyes open for new characters in this next episode and the finale. I feel like they've gotta shake things up. Maybe like the monks come back or something. They've gotta almost expand the world a little bit because, like we were just talking about, Quinn's storyline can only be dragged on for so long. He's such a good character. They kind of need someone that fills that void, and he's a huge part of the storyline. So to kind of match that is going to be tough. And that's why I think they might almost like be on the run. And then they're kind of chasing things down in season 3. I don't know. It's going to be, I'm very interested to see the direction they take it.
Yeah.
Especially since we only found out about season 3 like recently. So I'm sure they kind of had to ride both angles of like, maybe it will end after season 2 or maybe it won't. So I'm very curious to see how it all goes down. I'm sure there's a laundry list of people that would want to prevent them from getting to Azra or people they can meet along the way. But I feel like if they close Quinn's loop, like if, for instance, like Sunny catches up with him and kills him, he would just want to take Vale and the baby and like live happily ever after, like somewhere like not where they have to kill people.
I was thinking Azra, yeah.
Right.
After that.
So
Leave the Badlands behind.
right. So I mean, like that would be cool if like that's the only like safe zone that they can get to, and they're like on the run and they get together.
But I just don't see Vale with them though on that run. Like I see
Right.
him with his kid.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be like a whole like Walking Dead, like Rick with his child and Lori gone kind of thing.
Right. And yeah, I really hope they don't get into that slump, because I think, Walking, like some seasons were better than others in Walking Dead. We can all agree to that. And when they kind of get into a situation where they're prolonging things without like a clear directive in mind, it kind of gets in the way. So now that there's like a huge amount of episodes that we're getting like 16 next season, I hope that they really dive into like a huge storyline that we can follow. And so it's not just like the same problems of like misunderstandings and miscommunications and that kind of thing. Because that's when I think it gets...
Too convoluted.
yeah, exactly.
They have also built like this whole world with its own lore that's like coming about, and like I feel like we barely even scratched the surface.
Totally. And again, I think they've done a good job of like killing off characters that can come back. Like we talked about Jade and Silver Moon. I feel like that's going to be sort of the MO for these next two episodes. Maybe like we'll get some wins. Maybe we do get the reunion with Sunny and Vale. I think that's my official prediction, is that by the end of the season, Sunny and Vale reunited. Sunny meets his son for the first time. Heartfelt moments ensue. But I feel like the family moments will be cut short, and they'll have to like all go on the run. Maybe like Minerva tries to cross him and get MK or something.
Baji
Right.
on her side.
Ooh, that'd be a killer team up.
'Cause she's Flea.
Yeah. That would be crazy. Oh, yeah, I really want them to meet. Hopefully we get that next episode, because then we'll get our answer about Flea and if she really is the one he remembers.
Right.
That would be very cool. But we'll have to wait and see. Another week, or a few days at least, until Sunday, and we can all satisfy our curiosity. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We've only got 2 more episodes, so things better start happening. It'll be nice to get some satisfactory conclusions, and I feel good about episode 9s. They've got a good track record in seasons of 10 episodes that things really start to hit the fan, and we get some conclusions finally. But we'll see. I mean, I've got some money that Widow is Flea. I mean, there's really no other character I think that would make sense that we've met, at least. But we might be meeting some new ones, and I welcoming that, because it's a lot of inside baseball. I mean, it's gonna be great to see all of the interactions kind of come to a head, but to really build up the giant season 3 that we've seen, or with 16 episodes, it's gonna have to be some pretty big storylines bubbling up. So we will see that next week. Hopefully we'll have the full panel back, so we'll get some intense debates going on about what the finale is going to be like. But tune in Sunday to watch the episode, and Wednesday, a week from today, to see us and get another recap. We only have 2 episodes left. I can't believe it's gone by so fast. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Everybody in the chat, thanks for chiming in. You guys can find me at Hey John Blake, and we'll see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.